Should transgender people be fighting for transgenders' bathrooms rather than imposing on straight people?
Should black people be fighting for black bathrooms?
It's not the same thing. It's a put down to associate being black with homosexuality. It's a disgrace to black people who have died, black and whites who fought for the freedom of black Americans based on skin color. When you say wife and you being a woman, that doesn't sound, I mean, I understand that you like that and you accept it, but it doesn't sound strange to you to say me and my wife and you are a female?
No, it feels great. It feels great to find a person who loves me for who I am, who supports me, who makes me laugh, who does the laundry when I don't do the laundry. That feels really, really awesome to have a partner in life who I know I can always depend on. Makes me happy.
Does it bother you that the two of you can't have children together?
I think it's inaccurate to say as two women we can't have children. We can have children.
But you can't, not together. You can't get
But
in
again,
bed
my
with,
heterosexual friends can't have children
I know,
together
but that's
either.
an abnormal situation. Normally, a man and a woman can have a baby, but due to some type of defect, you do find cases where a woman might not be able to have children, have a baby, or a man can't make it. But there's no way that you and another woman can get in bed and make a baby. Do you ever wonder, well, if God made me a homosexual and he intended for me to be with another woman, knowing that I would want a family, why did he make it possible for me to lay down with another woman and make a baby? Have you ever thought about that?
I believe God has created all of us. So if God created the people who figured out how to help my heterosexual friends who very much want children, and the fact that he created a way for them to do that, that we as a world, as a people have figured out how to operate in those situations, that leads me to believe that it is possible. So it doesn't feel weird, and you can ask me 4 different ways, but I'm never gonna think it's weird because it's who I am.
Do you believe that children need the influence of a father and a mother?
Yeah. I think children need the influence of people who love them and care about them.
How about a father and a mother? Do you believe that they need that influence of a father and a mother?
I have had too many friends who have been raised by single parents. One, as a military kid, where I have had friends and I have had people in my community whose parents have died serving our country. I have had too many people who I know and who I respect and who I love who have been raised by single parents, dads or moms, to believe that it is impossible to raise a brilliant, loving, mature child.
Give me a yes or no to the question. Do you believe that the children, boys and girls, need the influence of their father and mother?
I just answered your question. I'm sorry if you didn't understand.
I missed it. I'm black and slow.
So
do they need the influence of a father and a mother?
I think it is my belief that children need the influence of people who love them, care about them.
Is that a no to my question?
I'm sorry I answered your question.
As a Christian, do you believe in sin?
I do believe in sin, yeah.
And what is sin?
For me, the easiest way to explain it, and especially for non-Christians, is I try to lead a life where I don't treat people differently than I want to be treated.
So, what is sin?
I'm sorry that we're missing each other, but I feel like I answered that question.
To treat people the way you like to be treated?
I feel like the cardinal sin is not treating other people well.
So when radical homosexuals impose on Christians who don't want to participate in their lifestyle, is that a sin?
I don't know what a radical homosexual is.
The ones who are trying to get the laws changed. For example, there's an Oregon couple fined $135,000. Colorado's Supreme Court refused to hear another baker's appeal. So I want to know from you, should the court have the power to force bakers to make same-sex wedding cake? And is that a sin to force them to do it?
So I think that the court has the power to enforce the law, and I think the Colorado court deciding not to hear the case was a victory for equality and a victory for anyone who doesn't believe in discrimination.
So let's go back to sin. What is sin? Tell me again, what is sin? Is there any other sin besides?
These people are so entitled that amongst all the problems they have, they want a marriage, they want the wedding cake. They say they're Christians, but they don't follow God. Why do you have to steal marriage from the Bible and use it for your degenerate purpose? Why do you want these things if you claim to be an homosexual? Homosexuality is a sin in the Bible. You can't pick and choose, steal something and something else doesn't matter. And what's even crazier is that they don't ask for it. They expect it from society.
Each other the way we would like to be treated.
I mean, what do you think?
I say, yeah, a whole bunch of more.
Like what?
Two men or two women acting as though there's a man and a woman. God is not for that. He didn't create that sin, and He would want you to overcome it. That's why Christ came, so that we could overcome those, sin.
But I don't know all gay people, but I feel like it's not about pretending like one of you is a man and one of you is a woman. It's just being who you are and being open to love and being loved.
So as a Christian, you don't know what sin is? That's the only sin that you know, is to treat each other differently than you would like to be treated?
No,
Are there any other sins?
I didn't say that was the only sin.
Give me the example of some more.
What I said in response to your question is it a sin to force people to bake a cake that they don't want to bake because of their religion? My response to that question was that I think that what courts are supposed to do, understanding the legal system, courts are supposed to,
I know, but let's go back to sin. As a Christian, give me other examples, a couple other examples of sin.
I'm not sure.
You're not sure what sin is?
I'm not sure.
Transgender people are now in the mix. And they want, if a man feel like a woman, he wants to go into the woman's bathroom. If a woman feel like a man, they want to be able to go into the men's bathroom. Is that right? Should that be allowed?
So I think a couple thoughts about what you said. I don't think that transgender people are now in the mix. I think transgender people have always been around.
Obviously,
I think they've been around throughout history. And I think the reality is people want to pass a law.
We was kings and we was trans.
Saying, oh, hey, like, we need to stop people from going into the bathroom that we're determining they shouldn't be in. But the reality is, you're already using the men's bathroom with people who are transgender, just like people are already using women's bathrooms with people who are transgender. So is it right? I think that people should be able to use the bathroom that they want to use.
So you're saying, yes, if a man decides that he feels like a woman, he's at a football game, had a couple beers, and he's...
So guys, let's just make murder legal, because people do it. Let's make it legal.
So, you know what? I'm going into the ladies' bathroom. I feel like a woman right now. He should be able to go into that bathroom. He has a right.
I don't want to be combative, but I'm not going to answer questions that describe people in ways in which they're not. And somebody who is transgender is not just someone who feels like a woman on a particular day because they've had a few beers. I think that's disrespectful to transgender people. And so I'm not going to describe people in a way that is not accurate, because I wouldn't want people to describe me.
Let's say that you have men who feel like women and they're dressing in women's clothing. They have identified as a transgender, full-fledged person. Should they be allowed to go into the bathroom of choice?
If I am a person who is transgender and I feel more comfortable and I feel more safe using whichever bathroom, then I should be able to use that bathroom.
And so the straight person doesn't have a choice in that, or say so. If they don't want that because they feel imposed upon, or let's say that my daughter is going into the women's bathroom, but here is a transgender man who feels like a woman going into that same bathroom, do I have a right to say, no, this is not going to happen for the protection and the privacy of my daughter?
Your daughter has already used
the
bathroom
not the question. That's
with
not the question.
transgender.
Answer that question. Should that be allowed if I'm against that for my daughter?
Your daughter, and the thing is, in order for me to answer questions, you can't interrupt me. And I know that's been tough for you throughout this, but like, I can't answer your questions if you interrupt me when I'm answering them. I don't know what your daughter does in the bathroom, but when I go to the bathroom, I have to pee or something else. And so I go into the bathroom, I go into the stall, I shut the door. And so what I'm doing in the bathroom isn't imposing on anyone else. It's taking care of my bodily function.
If you are if it's a man who's dressed like a woman and my daughter is in that bathroom, this man, he may have in his own mind think that he's a woman when in reality he's still a man. I have a right to say, no, I'm not going to allow this to happen. And the transgender person doesn't have a right to impose on that. Because that's what the radical movement, homosexual movement is about, is freedom, right? And non-discrimination.
For the
you don't
third
want to be
time,
discriminated.
I don't know what a radical homosexual is.
Should transgender people be fighting for transgenders' bathrooms rather than imposing on straight people?
Should black people be fighting for black bathrooms?
It's not the same thing.
But
it's a put down to associate being black with homosexuality.
Well,
it's a disgrace to black people who have died, black and whites who fought for the freedom of black Americans based on skin color.
One of the great African American, one of my great role models, Audre Lorde, said something to the impact of, there's no such thing as single issue struggles because we're not single issue people.
It's not a sin to be black, but it is a sin to be a homosexual because you can overcome homosexuality, but you cannot overcome being black. Just ask Michael Jackson, he never was able to overcome.
And I don't think that most people are actually trying to overcome their homosexuality. And I think if we're actually looking at what these laws do, they are about so much more than bathrooms. It's about denying people public access. It's about jobs. It's about employment discrimination. It's about
none of that is true.
It is true.
What it is.
Well, would you trust a person in your company that doesn't even know what they are? Come on, bro.
In reality, homosexual people, especially the radical ones, are not comfortable with being homosexuals, and they don't want anything or anybody around them to remind them that they're wrong. And so that's why they're trying to impose themselves on Christian bakers and same bathroom.
Are you
because
homosexual?
They can't handle being wrong.
Are you homosexual?
No, but all sin create conflict.
But hold on. But if you're not homosexual, then you can't speak for a group of people.
I know what sin does for you. It creates conflict.
But you can't. I feel great being gay.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I feel fantastic.
You really don't.
I feel fantastic. I've had a smile on my face the whole time. I might be happier than you. I'm young. I'm successful. I own a home. I found somebody I love. I have a great degree. I feel great. I've in no way. I have not.
You don't have God. That's the most important thing. Nobody cares about your degree. Nobody cares that you're successful. What are you saying? Successful because you're gay and you speak for gay rights? You're just delusional.
Felt like I need to overcome anything.
The one thing I can absolutely guarantee you, with all the successes that you've been able to gain, when you're alone by yourself, when no one is around to validate you, you're not being praised for your successes, reality kicks in and you have conflict about being a homosexual. You're not happy with it. I don't care what you say.
Yeah, this guest was extremely delusional, like most of them, obviously. And what's insane to me is they don't care about you. They don't care about your kids. They only care about their feelings, you know? They want to be able to go to whichever bathroom they want. What they think is right and what other people think doesn't matter. Then, when you ask them questions, like Jesse did, they cannot respond to any of them. Guys, let me know in the comments what you think about this crazy ideology. Christ is King, and God bless you.